Hello viewers and welcome back to the TheStopHunter YouTube channel. Now, did you know one of the fastest growing areas in retail trading at the moment around the world is something called funded trader programs? But did you know that nearly 90% of people taking these challenges actually fail? So why is that the case? Now, I've been trading professionally for nearly 30 years across all sorts of different markets and working for all sorts of different people. So the fascination on why these funded trader programs have grown caught my interest, so I actually started to take them and pass them and find out why 90% of people failed. And in this video, I'm going to candidly talk you through 14 reasons that I think people fail when they're doing these challenges, and hopefully you can take these as tips that you can take into your own world and hopefully put you into that 10% bracket of those guys that pass these tests and move on into the bigger world of funded trader programs. So with that, let's get into it. First of all, and this is a really obvious one, be realistic. Don't underestimate the difficulty of this challenge. This is about moving you to professional trading status, trading someone else's funds. So it's going to be tough, simple as that. Even in the real world of trading, professional trading, 80% of those guys fail, never really make it in the longer term. It is a very difficult job. I wouldn't expect to pick up a set of golf clubs and then be challenging Tiger Woods, or have a lesson in mixed martial arts and then be expecting to beat John Jones. It's obvious, and it's the same for trading. So, pare it back a bit and be realistic about your expectations here. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a journey, and it's going to require patience, learning, a whole load of skills that you might not have realized you needed to actually pass. So, number one tip, be realistic. Would you start a game and expect to win it without knowing nothing about it? Well, the answer is obvious, but a lot of you out there aren't doing just that with funded trader programs. You think you can just turn up and win quite easily. These are complex beasts, and the companies that provide these are operating on a very strict set of rules, quite often complicated, and you really need to know them inside out. Now, a lot of these companies offer FAQ pages, detailed responses to the sort of questions you have. If they've got them, then that's a good sign that they're worth working with. If they haven't, I would ignore them. But spend not just 10 minutes going through their website. Fully understand the rules of the game, because if you don't, they will catch you out. And even from my experience, I've learned from some of the subtleties that they put in there that it's really important. It can affect your strategy, your results, performance, and in the long term, the success of you passing this test. So know those rules inside out. I'm afraid to say a lot of the companies in this space are looking to catch you out with the rules that they are offering, and some of them are really stupid. And if you see these, stay away from them. In the real world of trading, you're not told these rules. For example, don't trade around key economic market events. I've never been told that in 30 years of trading. That's part of the risk, and the risk that you manage. And if they say, well, that's down to us having to risk manage stuff, that's rubbish. You should be allowed to trade unhindered with your strategy through the trading day. And if they don't let you do that, then they're not worth bothering with. Other ones, like you've got to do so many trades per day, you've got to hold them for this period, got to do X, got to do Y. No. Yeah, there is a level of common sense here on the rules that they offer, and pretty much if you can trade between the normal market hours, yes, I understand that they'll ask you to close the positions and not hold anything overnight. That's fair, but within the day you should be pretty much allowed to do what you like. And if you can't do that, and also when you get funded, are those rules there as well? If they are, move away from them, find a different provider. You've got to recognize that this is day trading, it's fast paced, and your strategy that you deploy, can fail just because of the rules that are being operated under a certain firm that you've chosen to go with. You might have a great strategy. It might be a swing strategy. It might be a longer term strategy. It's not going to work if you can't hold trades overnight. It's not going to work if you need it for a certain period of time. You've got to come up with a strategy that works within the environment that you're trading. This is a different world of trading, and you have to build an edge with your strategy that works in this environment. It doesn't matter how good a trader you are. Now, I've got lots of different strategies that would not work at all in this environment. They work perfectly outside here, but I had to go away when I was looking at these tests and passing them to come up with specific strategies that work in this environment. Now, if you follow the channel, you subscribe, I've already put some ideas out there for you, and I'll be putting a lot more out there if you want to check those out. So hit that subscribe button. Great content coming your way. But please build a strategy that works within the rules of the game. Now, this is a big one. It's all about trade and risk management. If you haven't got a plan around this, then forget it straight away. These programs are probably got a drawdown rule or a max loss daily or longer term rule that you're going to have to work out how to trade around. So there's no point if it's saying you can lose a maximum of $500 a day when your trading strategy, for example, at the size you want to trade, could quite easily pass that $500 figure. So you're going to have to work out your trade sizing, your stop losses, the whole risk and trade management side of things. Massively crucial. You've got to be really consistent there, and you've got to get it as part of the plan and as part of the edge. And if you don't utilize key risk and trade management principles, you're going to fail. Simple as that. Now, winning at trading is hard enough as it is, but you don't need any other factors pulling against you, bringing you down. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the companies in this space offer CFDs, via MT5, that sort of thing, as the tool to get you funded. They'll offer you big leverage, but with a very stringent set of rules. Now, often these companies are poked off in little tax-free islands, all around the world, and I can tell you they really aren't worth bothering with. Why? Because CFDs aren't an exchange-based product. So that means these little companies are offering you a product that is priced by firms that offer inaccurate pricing, bad pricing, which you can't afford when you're in that minutiae of trading. You need it working properly. You have the slippage around spreads, trade platforms. The broker that you're working with there owns the pricing, and then therefore they will own you. Whereas if you're using futures, it's a regulated product. It can't be as manipulated like a CFD product can do. Now, the only caveat there is if you know the broker you're using, you've used them for a while, you're comfortable with them, they're offering that sort of program, then yeah, feel free, go ahead, try it. But if you're picking one off the shelf, I would steer clear of the CFD world. There's too many things that can go wrong that will mess you up, and we've got to limit those to try and give us a chance of success. So my number one tip there is look for the futures traded programs unless you really have confidence in the broker that you're using on the CFD side. Number 7, 8 and 9 are quick fire tips, really obvious, and this one is just know how the futures market works. Most of these fund firms offer CME based futures challenges, so that's a certain set of products. Know how the futures market works, expiry, tick size, specification, times of trading, all that sort of thing. Again, critical to your success. Know what you are trading. Diving deeper into that idea of knowing how the futures markets work is, just understanding how the market you are trading works. You're going to have a set of products you can pick from. You don't just pick from it because it sounds interesting. You've got to own it. You've got to live it. You've got to know it inside out, how it moves, how it functions, how it works, important times of the day, economic events that affect it, the whole gambit there. You've got to fully understand. You've got to have an edge in what you are trading, and that comes around from knowing exactly what you are trading. I've already mentioned that you need to know the rules of the game that these firms are offering to you, but you've got to take it a bit deeper here. When you sign up, you're going to be offered different platforms to trade on, different tools to execute your strategy with. You've got to fully understand how they work. Is it Ninja Trader? Is it an inbuilt web-based platform? Do you have to link it up to other software? Does that create problems and hassles for the computer software equipment you're running? Get familiar with these tools. How does the simple operation of buying and selling, putting orders in, work? Don't just turn up on day one and expect it to operate smoothly. You've got to understand the tools that the firm are offering and the bigger picture of the firm. What's their objectives? How do they operate? Not just the rules of the game, but you've got to fit into that environment and work smoothly with it. So get to understand exactly how the tools work that you will be using to trade with before really hitting the go live and smashing the challenge. You'd be amazed how many people I see turn up to trading thinking it's an easy game. You just have to, buy low, sell high, and you're going to be a winner. As I mentioned earlier, point one, far bigger than that. Do not underestimate it. And a huge portion of you will just start for no reason. You've got no plan, no strategy, no known edge, and you think you're going to beat the system. Doesn't work like that. If you haven't got an edge, you haven't got a strategy, you haven't got a plan, and the strategy doesn't mean just turn up and buy and sell. It's thinking through the whole process, the markets you're going to use, the trading times of the day that you're going to operate in, where the edge is coming, using technical analysis, fundamental analysis. What about economic events, trade sizing, risk management? The whole lot has to go into that trade plan. On top of that, as we'll see, another tip that I've got, it messes with your head as well, so you've got to factor that in too. So without the edge, without the plan, just save your money. Don't bother with these challenges until you can offer, like I say, that edge. To win at trading is hard enough as it is. Now, these type of funded challenges are going to mess with your head, as I just mentioned. It's going to get psychological. They're going to play with your emotions. They're going to bring out the best and the worst in you, and we've got to try and keep the best isolated and managed properly and get rid of the worst, because you can easily slip into over trading, revenge trading, all the stupid habits that cause traders to blow their accounts. You're going to be faced with those as you progress through these challenges. And remember, the rules are even tighter here. It's someone else's money that they're going to be giving you, so they want you to be as good as it can get. So they don't want you messing around, being a bit of a loose cannon. You've got to manage your psychology, your trading psychology, keep it in check, keep yourself focused, consistent, managed. It's a very difficult thing to do, but this is another critical reason why you will fail, because you'll start playing games. You've got to follow your plan, your strategy, work around the rules to the letter if you want to succeed. Just following on from the previous point, I want to emphasize how important it is to be consistent and disciplined. Without that, you are simply going to fail. You've got to manage the plan. It's it's a case of churning results here. Your aim is profitability. It's not about being right. It's not about winning. If you know your risk return, you win 3 out of 10 trades, but your risk return is 4 to 1, then you're fine. But if you don't know those things, it's very difficult to be consistent and disciplined. The consistency and the discipline, around such things as losses, you've got to get out of them. Don't be big-headed. Cut them quick. That old adage, let your winners run, cut your losses quick. You've got to do that here. It's a day trading game, one that you have to churn and get the profits coming in, within your edge. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be disciplined. I can't emphasize that, enough. I keep coming up with the obvious, but it's preparation is key. You've got to do your homework if you want to win at anything. Do you think Tiger Woods turns up to the golf course without practicing and expects to win? No. Does a world-class boxer turn up without training for months and months to hone their skills before going live in the ring? They put in the effort beforehand to increase their chances of success. And it's the same with you. It's like I said, the consistency, the discipline nature. It's about having a plan, having a strategy, having an edge, understanding the rules. All of that lot has to go into one package if you are going to be a success. Preparation is massively important, and that leads me on to my last point, which again is often overlooked. It's obvious, but will help you massively. Now, this last point, like I said, is often overlooked. You've done your trading day, you're exhausted, you just want to go home and put your feet up. It doesn't stop there, I'm afraid. You've got to analyse your day's performance. You've got to learn where you're winning, losing. There's slight margins that you can improve to be more consistent in the long term. A lot of these funding companies allow you to download your stats, your data, pour over them, pick them to pieces, understand what your risk return is, where you're going right, where you're going wrong. Constantly evolve to become a better trader. That's what makes the best traders. They are constantly learning, constantly adapting, constantly getting better. And if you want to pass these challenges, you've got to do exactly the same as that. So I hope you found those 14 tips useful. Now, they might seem a bit vague, but it's down to you to start digging in. If you're serious about passing these tests, you're serious about wanting to become a funded professional style trader, then you've got to do the work. And these 14 tips will hopefully, there's no guarantee, get you into that 10%. But the good news is that I've got a real fascination now with these futures accounts, funded futures accounts, and I'm going to do a lot more video content around them to try and help you become a success. I want as many of you to be passing these tests as possible. I want you to share your success stories in this space. Now, if you hit the subscribe bell, notification buttons, I'm going to be producing a lot more content around this. I've got a link in the description below about one of the funded trader programs that I'm actually going to be testing myself in the live environment, putting it out there to show you, the ins and outs, the intricacies of passing such tests, so you can, look at them, see what you think. And also a playlist, a dedicated playlist to funded futures trading. I've set up now on the YouTube channel, and also got a strategy idea for you to check out as well. So that video and the link to the playlist coming up right now.